We need to reform. Our national institutions are too national institutions, not the people there, are too rotten. And I think the only way to bring about change and reform is an overhaul of the government. Ideally, of course, the only way out is for Umno to go into opposition benches. At least for one term. At least for one term, then they can learn. Because otherwise, Malaysia is not a normal democratic country. There is a definition that a normal democracy must mean at least 2 changes of government in two general elections. I think for Malaysia, let's just have 1 change of government. Let's just start with a change of government once, because otherwise, those in power, those who are the Prime Minister and those who occupy the key seats of power, they think they have more and more a divine right to rule. A divine right to rule rather than power comes from the people. But I think if we have this transition and change of government, then they will get used to it, that the power comes from the people and not because that there's somehow a divine right to rule. So I think that's important. Unfortunately, next elections is another 2 to 2.5 years away. The question now is, with the crisis that we are facing, is it possible to have a new configuration whereby we can bring about a new change in government? Biga has suggested a national government. But I think there's no disagreement. The question is, how do we achieve it? How do we bring that about? And like it or not, it must be based on the present parliamentary position. What we have are 222 MPs elected in the 13th general election, because that's the system of parliamentary democracy. Can we get a new majority to form a new coalition, a new government, a new prime minister with new policies to avoid a failed state? Is that possible? Is that possible? I think that is a $6 million question. And I think it's only possible if Malaysians are prepared to begin to think anew, rise above party, rise above a race, rise above a religion. What does the Dr. say mention about a Malaysian narrative? I talk about a Malaysian dream where even Umno must think in terms that they are Malaysians for the Malaysian country, not just for Umno, not just for one race, and all of us must a learning process for all Malaysians, not just UMNO members. Everybody think that we are not just Chinese, Malays, Indians, Kadazans or Epans, but we are Malaysians, must look after the interests of all Malaysians, regardless of race. So we must have that inclusive approach, that all-embracing approach, and that's why I've been talking about a possibility of a post-PN, post-PR, of course there's no more PR, a scenario. And whether it is possible, that is the challenge to all of us. And tonight I call for coming together of not just MPs, everybody. If we can come together on a safe Malaysia platform, that may be one step towards a new government, a new prime minister, a new policies before the next general election. I don't think anybody on our part is seeking higher intervention. But I think we were referring to what the MACC did on Sunday. That is in, I think, sheer desperation. And from what we were reading as to what is happening is a matter of grave concern. It is very clear that the MACC felt they have come to the end of the road, that their officers are going to be harassed and intimidated and even arrested and going to be shut, and that there is no way out completely and except divine intervention. In fact, I'm very concerned by what I'm reading now, and I'm going to read to you so that I think we can share in the ongoing developments now. And this is about the arrest, the police arrest of the MACC officers, and the reaction by MACC officer who said, "By God, I'll find the culprits," vows MACC director. amidst a crackdown on the MACC officers, its Special Operations Division Director, Bahri Mohamad Zin, has vowed to find out who is behind the order. When Malaysia Kini contacted him this evening, Bahri said he just conducted a solat hajat atau special prayers to seek divine protection for him and his personnel in the execution of their duties. Vexed over the police action, he thundered, "I will find the perpetrators who are ordering the arrest. By God, I will find the perpetrators till kingdom come." You can sense the sense of desperation in the tone. Bahri said the special division probed the case revolving around former 1 MDB, subsidiary SRC International Sdn Bhd, day and night since fasting month. They were very, very diligent and industrious. They worked day and night since fasting month. He said the team even sacrificed their Hari Raya leave for the case. We don't have time to play politics, as we are doing our job as entrusted by the public on what they expect us to do with regard to this investigation. You may have political powers. He's, of course, addressing somebody. You may have political powers, but I have Allah. He cautioned those behind the move. Whether the police arrest or question his officers, Bahri said it affected their work and is in violation of Section 48 of MACC Act, as Ambiga has mentioned, Azmin. What they are doing is disturbing our investigation. Bahri was among those questioned by the police in connection with the leak of a draft charge sheet, purportedly for Prime Minister Najib with regard to the SRC case, which led to speculation. It was linked to the sudden removal of Abdul as Attorney General. In the first place, about the so-called leak charge that Ghani was preparing in order to charge the Prime Minister for corruption. Pandi, the new AG, has said it is false. There is no such. It was no such charge sheet. In this case, if that is the case, why is there an investigation? If it is false, no such thing, and we're sorry, unless there was indeed a draft charge sheet, and they want to find out who is responsible for the leakage. You can only leak if there's something. If there's nothing, you cannot leak, isn't it? How do you leak when there's nothing? So, in other words, there was something. In other words, it will appear that there was a draft charge sheet to charge Najib Razak as for corruption. It should be the first case in the history of the world. No, Malaysia, in the world. It will appear to be so. But in any event, I'm very disturbed by this series of developments, and I'm sure all Malaysians must be disturbed. This is what I mentioned just now. The government warring against itself. And we do not want this. We want all this witch hunt to stop. Correct? We want all the witch hunt to stop, that the officers, we don't believe that they are traitors out in order to betray the country. We believe they are all hardworking and patriotic officers who are doing their duty. And I think we need to show our support for the MACC, whatever reservations we have.